So the other day I was going about my day-to-day life, that is to say, contemplating the meaninglessness of life, and the idea for this video came into my mind. So here we go. Lots of liberals seem to campaign for a healthy mix of capitalism and communism, although they say socialism because they don't like the word communism, it scares them. But what is this? Let's be honest. What they usually mean is they want some kind of restricted market. So that's still a market where companies compete to create products and can exploit the workers. Not can, they do exploit the workers. Yet there's restrictions, so it's all good, guys. Um, well, there's so many issues with this, though. You see, companies, they still want profit. The most important thing to a company is money. They don't care about your feelings, and they don't care about being ethical. They would bomb a small country if it got them money. In fact, that's what a lot of private military corporations do. That's my point here. That's what we're talking about. Someone who's willing to end lives, and bearing in mind, that's no small feat. That's someone's lives just gone, out of existence. That's someone's entire life, and they're doing it for money. So companies, they aren't ethical. And you see, this profit, it motivates them. So at best, in a restricted market, they would ignore the restrictions. And at worst, they'd fight against them, or they wouldn't let them exist in the first place. Because the thing is, politicians are so far in the pockets of CEOs. And you know what? You can't even really blame them at times, because these companies, they have so much money, they basically decide who wins the election just from who they're funding. So it's really difficult as a politician to do anything about it. And yeah, I don't think they should take the money, but what would they do without that money, you know? They'd stand no chance, unless you're Comrade Corbyn. But for the most part, the companies have an entire monopoly on politics. And really, voting, although it's cliche, voting doesn't change much, because the companies basically control the outcome. And the reason the two main parties are so close politically is because they both benefit the companies. You see, an example might be the beauty standard. That's not going to go away. I've explained this before. It makes them too much money. So instead of campaigning against it, you actually have to put your foot down. You can't tell them to be more ethical about it, because they're just going to find another way to exploit people. Instead, you could create a counter magazine, perhaps hand out flyers, just outright stop buying things from them. You know, you could organise one of these yourself. You don't need me to tell you what to do. Just think, what's going to stop them from doing this? And another example is ethical killing of animals for the meat industry. That's not going to happen. They make too much money off of running it like a factory, and that just ends up making the animals live in horrible conditions. It's what's going to happen, unfortunately. And that's why I think veganism is good, even if I'm not one, because I'm a massive hypocrite. But still, I think it's incredibly valuable to society. And you can't just say, oi, do it properly, because it's not going to happen. That's the thing. They'll make you think you're making progress, but you won't be. They're still going to be exploiting and doing things disgustingly. This is why they quote, there is no such thing as ethical capitalism. This is why it makes so much sense. Because ethics goes out the window when money is involved. People let it go to their heads, and they forget that other people are human too. And this is where my friend on Instagram, Marxist Guevarist Feminist, has a great quote too. Don't trust those bastards to be ethical for you. And it's true, because you are ultimately the only person who controls your life. You don't have control of that company, you know. You've got to take direct action to get rid of it. You can't just tell them to be nice, because they've fallen into money-making habits, and they're not about to give that up, because unfortunately, they are greedy. That's the fact of the matter. So, to combat all this doom and gloom, we've got to control our own lives. We've got to make decisions for ourselves, instead of trusting these companies to do it. And part of that is to fight against capitalism through direct action. And I've already outlined what that could be. That's printing flyers, handing out leaflets, posters, uh, rallies, picketing places, going on protests, going on not so peaceful protests, I don't know, cutting fuel lines, some of these things are illegal and I don't endorse it. Of course I don't endorse it, by the way, but still, it's all direct action, and you have to actually make a difference. And even if you are just educating your family, that's more than enough, because education is the only way we're going to destroy this. Okay? It's the only way we're going to destroy the beast that is capitalism. Thank you, and goodbye.